short folks. Just wanted to remind everyone. Look, I'm someone who's been through a lot of hurricanes. Um, there's some things you can't prepare for very well, right? What happened in Maui was bad, right? It just was like that, and the civil defense people, they kind of screwed pooch. Alarms didn't go off, water was turned off. Hey, what's going on? What's up, red leg? You can't prepare for that. An earthquake, right? Kind of come out of nowhere. Uh, Tornadoes, they're fast moving. Even if you know it's coming, it's really hard to deal with it. Hey, Teresa, what's going on, Marco? But folks, make sure you have some semblance of a plan for these kind of emergencies. In particular, uh, there were a lot of animals were left that, the Maui was really, there wasn't their choice. Hey, what's going on, water tiger? The fire moves so quick. I mean, people were getting run into the street and catching fire trying to escape. I mean, that was super fast. But a lot of folks don't have a plan for this kind of stuff. You can't prepare for something that fast. Hey, what's going on, love and life? But what you can do is at least understand what's in your area, right? Hey, All American, what's going on, brother? You can understand what is in your area. And for instance, in my area, seismic activity is usually by accident, right? And we cause it. We know we cause it. And this, with the energy sector, there's so many seismic detectors out here, right? Because you got drilling wells and big solar fields. Everyone's monitoring stuff. So it's not like, even if we have an earthquake, we'll know within 30 minutes where it was, how strong it was, how deep it was. But if you live in California, you're going to get earthquakes, right? So you have to prep with what's going on there. On the Gulf Coast of Houston, you get hurricanes a lot and floods. You need to prepare accordingly. If I live in the bayou of Louisiana, I'm not going to really prepare for like a wildfire because that's not something that will often happen. I know personally with my fewer prepared for anything. See, and Mimi, and welcome Mimi, that's something that concerns me, and that's where I'm going with this. A lot of people have zero plan. For instance, and I did a video, I probably need to do a new one. I have actually, so normally people have like all their insurance papers and all their shit scattered. I actually have a bug out book in my gun safe, which is a fireproof safe. If we have to leave, because we travel so much, I have luggage and suitcases. I can pack up fast. Hey, Cold War, what's going on? Believe it or not, we are at 88 right now in West Texas because we have been getting rain finally. But now my dogs are freaked out, Luna in particular, because she's not used to the rain anymore. So now she's like, she'll hear the thunder and she's panicking. But we're getting that moisture from the storm in the Pacific's getting spawned off into New Mexico and the west part of Texas. So it actually dropped our temperatures a lot. So I'm happy about that. But a lot of folks have zero plan. And even worse, they're planning for things that don't apply to their area. So folks, understanding your area, understanding, wow, I'm in an area that has floods. Okay, then prepare. That guy almost hit me in the ass. Where you going, buddy? Go ahead, hit the police car. That'll make my day. I will live stream that shit, dude. Go on, hit him. See, they get all brave till they see a cop car and then they stop. That's a bummer. It would be much more fun if they went and had an accident. Not that I want someone to get hurt. I just want them to get a ticket and get in trouble. But have an idea what happens in your area. And typically when you move to a new area, like I did, just before Rona, I roughly knew the area. I didn't realize the lack of water here, whereas not 2 hours away in San Angelo, they have 3 rivers running through the town. So water is not an issue. Filtering it's the issue, right? You live in Louisiana, there's plenty of water. You got to make it clean. You live out here, good luck finding the damn water. And that's the topographical maps. Yeah, absolutely, Dan. And these are the kind of things I encourage you to prepare for. And one is a pet peeve of mine and my daughter's also, because she's in the veterinary field. is your pets. A lot of people, okay, so by her estimate, when she was working in the emergency animal hospital in Houston during Harvey, they had law enforcement and the responders bring in no more or no less than 200 pets just to their clinic in the first 2 days. Now, in some cases, animals get separated, right? Like the Maui fire. Hold on, what did Mimi say? Hey, Joe. Mom goes to bed, drink more vodka, and then neighbor's kid is working tonight. Ooh, 112 in Minneapolis. Yuck. Ouch. It's been like that a lot here. Costs as much as people. No, it does. They do. And I think they're preparing to lock us down again here in Lakeland, Florida. COVID 2 think they're preparing to lock us down. Yeah. And I'm hearing about that as well. And that's, again, that's a more political thing. But when you know what's in your area, you can plan accordingly. If you have a pet, make sure you've accounted for that as well. And yeah, at this point, Joe, I'm like, I will wear a plague mask. You want me to wear a freaking mask, with the beak and shit? And I will go to HEB with that thing and the black hat. Technically, I'm in compliance. I mean, if they're gonna make me wear one to go grocery shopping, I will be an ass about it. We all tried to be nice last time, and we see where that went. By the way, I got a really good conspiracy short that's probably gonna get me kicked off Instagram again. That I'll post later this week. But understand what happens in your area, because it shocks me when people say, "Oh well, I'll just drive away from the hurricane." And the hurricane hits, and then they're flooded in, and they can't get out, and then they freak. And that happened to someone in my family when we were in Houston. I was like, hey, get some cases of water, get some canned food, buy MREs, whatever the hell you can afford. Have something. Get a camping stove for $20, the generic one with the little green tanks, so you can boil some water and cook pasta. Right? The power will come on in a few days. Just have something. And Harvey lasted like 8-9 days. It flooded the shit out of everything. And they call me the second day. There's 2 feet of water on the ground all around my subdivision because we were on high ground, but we were trapped. Fortunately, we were trapped with a bar that still had power, so we were going there and getting drunk, but we were trapped. And then they call, and they're like, hey, we need you to come get us. Where are you? At home? Well, no, I can't. Are you kidding? It just, I'm like, I can't even see what's on the street. Even if my truck can get through the water, I don't know if there's a 2x4 hole, if the bridge is washed out. I don't know. I don't want to drown in a freaking bayou because you were stupid. Your stupidity is not my malfunction. And people, they don't plan for stuff that happens in their area. So get familiar with your area. And I probably need to I know some geology people, like really awesome geology guys and people who know geography, and get some of them to get on my live stream and just have them throw their 2 cents into what they think people should be thinking about. But Drain, then these are freaking awesome. Anyone who to order plague masks for the next one? Marco, the Halloween store should have them. If not, I'm wearing the Green Goblin. I'm serious. Or I have an inflatable T-Rex suit. I should wear that to the store. Technically, it's a mask, right? It covers my whole dumb ass. I will legit go shopping in a T-Rex outfit if they compel us to wear a mask. I think Texas is going to sue anyway because Texas is pissed at Washington. But folks, have the plan. Understand what happens in your area. It really blows my mind that, dude, I'm parked and this guy almost hit me. Like, how do you do that? I'm literally in a spot. But anyway, I'll just walk around with an AR-15 in public like last time. And you know what? The people were doing that in Texas. Yeah, I wish all the governors would sue. Well, enough of them would sue though to piss off Washington. If nothing else, there's this neat thing called an injunction, right? You go to the court and say, hey, they can't deny me my rights until I have fair hearing. Oh, God, inflatable hamster ball. Y'all, I have a video of a theme park where one person gets in this massive inflatable hamster ball and there's a track and it goes downhill. It's all grass. And all his friends run. He's in the hamster ball. They get a 30-second lead, and then he comes running down in the ball and tries to run his friends over. And you get $5 from your friends. For every friend you run over, he has to give you $5. If I can find this damn video, I will put it up there. I was in tears. I thought that was the best thing I've ever seen. But going back to the topic, we need to make sure you understand, hey, Watchman, hey, Coffee, hey, Shad, be sure to understand what will most likely happen in your area. Because if you don't, you may be prepping. Hey, Independent, you could be prepping for the wrong thing. Hey, Farmer, what's going on? Comrade Whitmer, that lady. You could be prepping incorrectly, right? Again, if you're in an area prone to flooding, or say you're prone to blackouts and you don't have flashlights, that's kind of silly. You know what I'm saying? My beard is my mask. Technically, beards actually protect your face. Somebody did a study on that. I need to go find that. But folks, make sure you factor in your extended family and your pets. Again, it just blows my mind how many animals were abandoned during Harvey. And like I said, it wasn't like what happened in Maui, right? That moved so fast, people were getting killed in their own house, right? I'm talking, you knew the hurricane was coming. It was like a week in advance. They were like, that hurricane will probably jack up Houston. And what people were doing was literally letting their dogs in the yard, leaving food and water, and they left. Right? So cops were going by and finding that, of course, the fences came down, the dogs are running around the street. And so the cops were finding, labs, kittens, all sorts of critters, and bringing them. Global warming, haven't you heard? And bringing them to the hospital, and the hospital's like, well, what do we do with them? They had to go to the shelter, and animals got euthanized because they didn't know what to do with them. And that's sad. So make sure, I know getting the chip and registering it and paying for it, that can cost some money, but at least get a damn dog tag, right? And put it on your dog. Make sure the dog, honestly, if you can't afford a proper ID for your dog, you probably shouldn't have a pet. I mean, not to be mean, but your dog gets loose. I mean, granted, stupid animals will take their collar off, but, be prepared for that. Be prepared for your critter to run off. Be prepared for your kids. And understand what could and may happen in your area. Again, West Texas, flooding, not so much. It does happen, but it's rare, and it's not like what we just saw in California. Houston will flood the crap out of an area, so you have to factor that in. Hey, what up, book club? Don Denver. Well, it's funny that Prigozhin literally just made a video about opening a campaign in Africa to make Russia great and to defeat the enemies of Russia in Africa. And then he has an accident. I wonder if his ass is still alive and they just reported a plane burning of some random ass plane. Now, I'd be interested if the Ukrainians figured out how to get to him. Like they sent some kind of drone and shot his ass down, and they're calling it an accident. I'm not buying an accident. Something happened. Oh yeah, so Cold War, that's the other thing. Like here, you definitely can get floods, but not as often. You don't get that precipitation you see in Houston. But again, you need to understand your geography as well. I slipped and fell. Oh God. Yeah, no, it's just too convenient because Prigozhin was being a pain in the ass. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if NATO had a Reaper sitting up there way high, and we're like, oh, that plane needs to have an accident. Bloop. Farmer, absolutely. Somebody did. The Ukrainians, the Russians, somebody didn't want him around. Like, if Putin really didn't want him, he would have killed his ass. Okay? And it makes you wonder, actually, if, it makes you wonder, thanks, Marco, it makes you wonder if all these generals that were magically having accidents weren't the acts of, operators, agents, spies. God, you can make a Tom Clancy movie out of this shit. But folks, understanding what can happen in your area is going to be super important as we go forward. The plane free falls. Yeah, a lot of accidents happening lately. Also, even if they don't shut us down, China may shut down, right? Other countries may get shut down. And that's going to screw with supply chain, and it's going to screw with our availability of goods, our availability of stuff. So prepare accordingly, right? We're paying attention, right? We see this coming. We were thinking about this months ago, and it wasn't just me. I mean, there were a bunch of us, including the creators in the chat, were like, I bet they're going to try and shut us down again and cause shit, right? They're going to do something. They're going to screw with us, right? We've been talking about it. Before the inflation hit back in 2021, after Rona was kind of going away, we're like, nah, something else going to go on. The supply chain's going to cause a problem, and then we're going to get inflation because we're we're hyper, the economy's too hot, right? We were talking about the inflation and the supply chain stuff months before the general public. It was in the media because we could see it and we were talking about it. We're talking about the lockdowns and the natural disasters now. People are, the general public just doesn't care, right? They're like, la 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 la. But it's sad too at the same time, because it's harder for those of us who are trying to be ready to prepare. That report I talked about last time, the first attempt was so successful. Hey, Daryl Calhoun, what's going on? What the hell was I saying? So with that inflation, with those supply chain issues, that's going to be an issue. If they shut us down or they shut other countries down, indirectly it comes and affects us. Now, the media is also talking about China's economy having problems, which shouldn't surprise anyone. But now it's getting to the point that they're saying China's economy might partially collapse. Not like recession collapse, like woof. And that kind of situation, again, could affect us, but not directly. It's going to be an indirect problem for us. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, prepare accordingly and plan it out. Look at your, hey, heathen, and say, oh, India had a bad rice crop. That's probably going to make rice more expensive. Let me go find, some extra rice and stick it in Milo or however you store it. Not a big deal. Not a reason to panic. Like I said, I did put out that report where was it Moody's Financial was reporting the average family is spending $700 a month more on essentials. Now you do the math. That's $8,400 a year, roughly, that people are spending. You're taking home 50 grand a year, and that's almost 20% of your salary. That's huge, and that's not counting rent and car payments and all this other stuff and the interest rates going up. That's just getting food and water and groceries. So it's going to be harder for us, Joe, you need to find other places to buy booze, man. Joe's like, if you got cheap booze, let me know. I'll go. But hey, Winning Streak, what's going on? I wince at the store every time. So because of my schedule, because my wife is at the office and she's at the facility and I float, right? I go remote. So I'm always hitting the stores on the way home. So any given day, I'll hit a store somewhere to get something. And I've kind of seen the prices going up. And she showed up she showed up to the grocery store the other day, looked at the chicken and went, what the hell cracked out chicken is this? She was pissed. She's cursing at Sam's like, who the hell are these golden pigs? What the hell with the pork chops? You know, she's pissed off. But it's getting more expensive, so try to try to plan for that, folks. But understand your area, understand what is most likely to happen with you. You know, you live in the middle of a city, supply chain is going to be a major issue, but then people will be a big issue, right? In Texas, even though it's a big city, it's spread out. So you don't have people on top of each other, and people can go into the country, right? People can fan out. Place like Manhattan, everyone's concentrated together and they run out of food because the bridges are inaccessible. Oh, that's going to be Escape from New York all over again, right? It's just going to be bad. So understanding that, what is the, not demographic in terms of the culture, you know, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. I'm talking the demographic. Are they working class? Are they farming class? Are they white collar folks? Or, you know, out here is very outdoorsy people, right? So a lot of people would be like, okay, well, let's start gardening again. You know, people immediately, well, I got propane, I got food, let's cook together. And you'll see, only Jason would make it out alive. Him and his little troop, they'd be escaping on a boat, you know, with a little skull banner going across the East River, while Manhattan burns in the background. It would be terrible. Actually, that's kind of a funny picture. You think about it. So understand what your area is and make a plan for your pets, all right? Make sure you have food for them. Make sure you have a place to put the food if you get water in the house so the food doesn't get wet and contaminated. Hey, Winning Streak, just understanding what the possible threats are will make a huge difference, and that'll kind of guide your playing War Machine. It'll guide your, he would live stream it. Dog eats before he does. They also, if you know how to make dog food, like homemade dog food with people food that doesn't give them diarrhea, that's cool. Like I have several recipes that I can use to make dog food for the corgis, which I've done. If they get sick, they get like a stomach ailment, I'll start cooking home food for them. And I have recipes for the pets. Y'all are incapable of driving. I'm literally parked at the far end of a parking lot, so I won't impede people going to the store. And like, people are zigzagging and almost hitting each other in the middle of the parking lot. And I'm like, what? Do you not see each other? It's not like you came out of nowhere. It's a big flat thing. Anyway, like I said, people are sometimes the worst problem. But understand what you may or may not need. Understand what the possible threats are in your area. It's going to make a huge difference, and it'll help guide your costs, right? If you're like, okay, my problem will be finding, I don't know, toilet paper and rice. I'm just being silly. Well, you know, focus on that now so you're not out in the crowd. Hey, Papa's Farm. You're not out in the crowd trying to get toilet paper and rice when everyone else does. So just think about, hey, Sister Marie's, you beat me to the homegrown pet food. Yeah, absolutely. And even if you buy store-bought pet food, I like each of the corgis, they get a measuring cup. Like there's a certain cup I use, everybody gets the same amount. And I know using that cup, the big bag of food, I buy the big ass bag, will last me almost a month and a half. I also know that if I have 2 bags, the second bag will not go bad by the time the first one's done. So in reality, now I have 3+ months of food. And if there's a bad emergency, I'll cut back a little bit on the cup. They won't be happy, but they'll have enough to eat. I mean, you clearly can see 2 of my dogs are potatoes. They're not dying. But I'll know I have months of food, same as people, right? You go a bit, ration yourself a bit. You start measuring more if there's hard times. But understanding what your risks are in your area will help inform what you probably will or won't need. And that'll guide your spending. You want to get the most bang for your buck, folks. You don't want to go and spend on something that's gonna hurt you. No, and Joe, to the point, prepping was even during the Cold War, everyone was, you must have, they had that announcer with the suit and tie going, the Russian threat is real. Be sure to have 2 weeks of canned food and some water in case of an emergency. Civil Defense will be broadcasting on AM 100. You remember those black and white videos? You can still find them on YouTube. And they, who, you still, that still applies. This was just a lifestyle back in the day. Somewhere in the last 20, 30 years, it went away. So a lot of people didn't pass that on to their kid. No, they didn't. Joe knows what I'm saying. Yeah, they're on Periscope films now. They weren't always called that. It used to be something else, but I'm not old enough to remember that. Coffee, look up Cold War films or Periscope films. It's all Cold War stuff. And literally, it's all prepping for the Russians to attack us, which is kind of funny in one respect and scary in another, because here we are like 30 years after the Cold War supposedly ended and it's all over again. So go figure. Dude, you need to look up, homie. Legit, if you hit me while I'm parked in the middle of a parking lot all by myself, you're retarded. Or you can hit that pole. That's fun too. He almost hit a pole. God, I really need to get a dash cam so y'all can see the weird shit that I see on the highway. Like the guy who almost smushed me in an SUV running from the cops. That was awesome. Awful and awesome at the same time. Funny Russians. But, and it's funny because my daughter's fiance's family's from Russia, so I absolutely pester the shit out of him sometimes. I'm like, hey, okay, you see, the Putin's talking and they have the subcaptions. Is he actually saying what they're saying, or is he saying something else? So he'll translate, because he grew up with his grandparents who had fled the country, and he'll translate Putin, even though they have the subtitles with what he's saying. He'll be like, oh yeah, he said this. No, he didn't say that. That guy fucked up the translation, and he'll tell me, which is cool. But the Great Depression, my parents, the 70s shortage showed me in 2008 and prepared. Yeah, and it should just be skydive. It should be a lifestyle, not something you do in a panic, but something you do gradually over time. Again, marathon, not a race. I mean, we've all used that phrase. So understand your threats and prepare accordingly. Obviously, there's some stuff you can't help, like a terror attack. What the hell? The Cloverfield monster, whatever the hell that thing is, starts running around your neighborhood. Yeah, who the hell knew that thing actually existed? But understand, what did book club say? Putin on a Ritz. That's terrible. God, I missed that one. Gradual. Yeah, and also, that's a good point. You don't burn out. If you're freaking out all the time, you get tired and you burn out. So just understanding what could happen is going to guide, again, like my area, earthquakes not very likely unless human induced by accident. California, big freaking deal. Right? That a bad earthquake will flatten LA, and that would be a disaster. I mean, millions would die then, right? Understanding I have to prep differently in LA than I do in West Texas than you will in Louisiana. In Louisiana, boats required, right? Because you flood, you got a pirogue or a canoe, and KP Heathen knows what a pirogue is. You can get waterborne quick, and now you've got mobility, car or no car, right? Dude, in 2020, I felt my first wave was like a 7.0. Oh, that'd be awful. But, look, so folks, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep with the chat here. Prepare accordingly, don't panic. Now, put in the comments or in the chat, I might do a live stream, and I don't want to crash into Angry Prepper because I think it's this afternoon. It's like Vision, Hudson, Angry, NY Prepper. I think Prepper Now's jumping in. There's a bunch of people going on live. But I thought I was having a stroke or something. I would too if I didn't know any better. If everything started shaking, that would freak me out. I was thinking, do I do a live stream of the Trump interview or a live stream of the Republican debate? Because I'm really curious to see who else is in the game and if there's a better candidate out there. So, what are your thoughts? Just winter's coming, 3 to 4 months. Yeah, absolutely. Billy Bob Prepper. So, what are your thoughts if I can get out of work and not be pestered by the bosses? Do a live stream of the debate or do a live stream of Trump? I'm more concerned about neighbors losing their minds, what's left of their minds. Sister Marie, absolutely. Well, Trump would be fun. The election's a what? A waste of time if you know it's a selection. Ain't no election. Yeah. I've always been here as well, even as a preteen, and buying and hiding my food in my bedroom. Oh, see, there you go. Just make sure you seal it. I actually had somebody got a bunch of those ketchup packets, and he's like, I'm going to store these. So he put them in a bin in his kitchen, and he didn't realize that bugs can actually chew through the little foil packets, and there was ketchup everywhere and dead bugs because they died. It was so bad. Mad Chad. Yeah, he's trolling the DNC. And that's the thing. Like, I want to hear these other guys, but at the same time, Trump's freaking hilarious. So, Trump or the Keebler elves? Want to go to a store that has nothing with you. Yeah, no, that's true. So, yeah, make sure that you prepare accordingly based on what you think can happen, folks. I don't want people to panic. Don't get out of budget. Don't run up credit card debts unless you absolutely have an emergency. You just don't want to be there. Because remember, the elites will not break a system that makes them rich. Think about that. The stock market, the money market, the banks, that keeps them wealthy. They don't want to break it because then they don't have money and then everything comes apart for them. So but even if it comes apart for the rest of us, they're going to want to collect their money. They're going to want to collect their debt. So, budget blown years ago, right? Well, never too late to get pushing in the right direction, but pay it down, right? The less you owe, the less interesting you are. And I do have a video next week about some financial traps that the banks are trying to pull. And they sent me an email about, oh, do this and do that. And I'm like, I know better. And I did my homework. I'm going to share it with you, but I'm still editing that. So that's next week. Coffee. He did get that went by fast. A brief slipped under his bedroom door. Nice. Well, Daryl, the money is part of the power. So I guess you can use those interchangeably. Yeah, consuming people, I would believe that. So, folks, look, hey, Grandma, or GMA, God, I can't see. I want the zombie card. So, look, guys, be safe, be smart with what you're doing. Watch your money, and just watch the threats. Remember, the reason we try to prep, the reason we collaborate, we make videos is so we can all share the information in advance of the general public. Not to be mean, but I would rather my followers, my collaborators, my other creators, we're all prepared. And if the general public wants to be stupid, let them be stupid over there. You know, like my dad would say, que se vayan los pendejos. You know, the stupid people can go over there, right? Because we don't want them here. And yeah, que se vayan los pendejos. They can go away. You don't want to have to deal with them. So if you're ready, they're over there freaking out at whatever store. You're at home, right? And I find it much easier to defend my house than to try and navigate a busy and freaked out store full of freaked out people. So if I have to go out, I want to go out for something specific that I may have missed. We all miss stuff and be like, I need this. Shit, I missed that. Fair enough. I'm in the store, I'm SWAT shopping, right? You go, bang, bang, get the 2 things you need out the door. You're not hanging out. You're not in a panic looking for whatever. You know what you're going. Ding, ding, ding. It's either there or it's not. And if it's not, you're going to have to figure out something else and get the hell out of Dodge. So, folks, be careful out there. Be safe. God bless. And if I can break free from work and my homework, my school starts next week, so that'll be interesting. And I got a graduate school session. It's an 8-week semester, so it's a really fast-moving semester. Then I'm getting sent to, I guess it's basically executive training school for the company for a week. And then like a month right after Christmas, I start another semester of grad school. So it's going to be like ding, 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 ding. So you're going to see me pop up and then I'll be off grid, and pop up and I'll be off grid again. So if you see my schedule get really erratic, I just got busy. But I'll keep you, I'm going to be a bigwig. Either that or they're going to run me off because I'll call someone an asshat in the class and they'll be like, that's not what you say, and be gone. So, although I called someone an asshat in a meeting the other day because I was annoyed, or I referred to someone as an asshat, and the boss is like, you don't say that. Thank God he's from Canada and he has a messed up sense of humor. He's from Western Canada, where Northern Girl Hobbies is, like kind of that part of the. And so he's like, we don't say those things, eh? And I'm like, but it was funny. He's like, I thought it was funny too, but not when they're on the call. So, asshat. In any case, asshat's a great word. I learned that from my sons when they went to the army and they came back. But anyway, asshat a shot. That sounds like a messed up Dr. Seuss, Daryl. Anyway, folks, hey, my mother's park. I'm about to shut it down, but thank you for making it. Look, you guys be safe out there. Be careful. And again, no panic. Just think it through, right? And understand what's happening in your area, because the more you understand what your likely problems could be, the more it guides what you buy, what you don't buy, and where you put your money and your time. So, folks, until next time, God bless, Godspeed. I will see you all later. Be cool out there. And if I wind up out on the highway somewhere, I will do a live stream then as well. You take care, guys. Be good. Bye, Encore. Thank you, Spark. All right, y'all. Be careful out there. Bye.